You're listening to the Trojan Hour. Yeah, the boys.
Alrighty. We are live and uncensored. Here we go. Special guest tonight, everybody. We have the man, the myth, the legend, Milvan Muto. How are you, my friend?
Pretty good, mate. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. It's been, we've been doing the podcast for, how long have we been doing the podcast? It's about a year, eh?
Yeah.
I think it's about a year.
Yeah,
and
coming about that.
the name that constantly came up for guests that we should have on, Milvan Muto. Constantly.
Hard to believe.
Hey, but like we were saying before, like we said, we had a guy on that we thought was a pretty big deal.
Massive deal.
Gary Nessner, former CIA hostage negotiator,
FBI,
New York Times bestseller, blah blah blah.
I thought you were talking about me.
Yeah. But what were you saying when I said we had this guy on that's massive, like it's a big deal, and
I think I was saying, James,
but nobody cared. And then we get Milvan on, and the whole of Shepparton wants to see it.
That's right. And if I can give you an analogy, it's like the Shepparton Mall. You could make it out of gold. And if you charge people to go there by charging parking tickets, no one will go there. Because people are more interested in what's happening in their lives.
Yeah.
Not some hero that made it overseas, like Hugh Jackman, I think he comes from Kyabram, comes out of the Molly Meldrum family or something. But, people are interested in what's happening in their own community.
Yeah.
Globalisation is out, and what did we say we called it before? Communitisation.
Communitization.
Communitisation. That's what we should be thinking about. We live here with you guys.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
So I'm interested in what you guys think rather than what someone from Bendigo
What was that saying that you said? Something. The world is.
My uncle used to
town,
say to me that the whole world is one town.
Yeah.
So it's basically where you hang your hat, what you make of your own environment that matters.
Yeah. Correct.
We were looking at the pictures before, like that's the sort of flowers I grow in the front garden, and they're my pets. This is well, you look at the AFL Grand Final this year, and all the finals they're all felines, cats, tigers, lions. What else? The little fishes. Where are the little fishes? Here they come.
Yeah, there's one, the snail thing.
Little corals. Look, we thought it was a great time to get you on, considering the local council election results right around the corner. Thought it's someone like yourself's been on the council. You were elected in 2008, pretty overwhelmingly too, by the way.
Yep.
Top 4, I think you were.
I think top 4 first time.
Speaking to the mic.
And top 2 the second time.
Top 2
4 the first time.
Yeah.
I think. Even some Sheilas beat me the first time. You got to be kidding.
So,
Surely to God.
so you've grown up in Shep your whole life. You said 61 years.
Yeah, I've been here for 61 years, but I got to Greater Shepparton when I was about 7 months old.
And where were you born?
I was born in France.
In France.
Je m'appelle Milvan.
I thought you were pulling my leg, but it seems that you're
Yeah.
not.
I thought he was just pulling our leg. Also.
You always tell the truth, don't you?
You've been watching too many movies. I'm not pulling nothing.
Not full of nothing. So, take us through what was your motivation to join the council, like to run for council back in 2008?
Yeah.
So what was your plan? Why did you want to run for it?
Well, earlier on in life, I started this restaurant in Shepparton called Calzone's. And the deal was there with council, I did all the right things and went for the permits and paid them all the grease that they wanted. And they said to me, you can't have your little restaurant Calzone's there unless you provide $350,000 worth of car parking.
Wow.
In lieu of. I said, oh yeah. So I've got to buy the Terminus Hotel to provide enough car parks for a little restaurant next door to the Terminus Hotel.
So where was Calzone's?
Right next door to the Terminus Hotel.
Yeah, right.
Where Baccaro's,
Oh,
they call
okay,
it
yep,
Baccaro's.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we built that with our own hands. It was a great little place.
Yep.
So we started going to these council meetings to try and work out why they're doing this, you know. Anyway, it turned out they couldn't even read their own rules. So they said to me at one point, the council said, look, we'll accept 55,000 from 350.
Wow.
Before that, I went to Reardon's lawyers. Chris Reardon, who's an old mate of mine. He represented me, charged me $6,000 those days, and he got it down from 350,000 to like 200,000. And
Still a lot of money.
Yeah, and he said, "See that, Milvan? It's all done through negotiation." I said, "Well, Chris, let me handle it now, and I'll show you how to negotiate." So I write back to council and say, "Listen, no, I'll give you 10,000, and that's it." And they said, "No, that's not enough. You won't be able to open the business." I said, "Well, I've got the key. I paid the gas. I paid the electricity. I don't owe you any rates. I'm going to open up on Monday." They said, "All right, go ahead." So I went ahead. And they turned around and said that I was just a rotten person and evil and nothing.
So this was the council saying this about you?
Yes, they started all this propaganda. So ended up going to a council meeting one day to make a presentation, because I then researched the matter and I found that they weren't going by their own rules, and their own rules, if they were adopted properly, worked out that they owed me $5,000. Right? They owed me $5,000. So I went and put this to them, and the mayor turns around to Colin
wouldn't like
Carnes, young Colin Carnes those days. He's the big leader up there now, the best waffler in Australia. But anyway, shout out for you there, Colin. Dud. But anyway, he looks at Colin Carnes and goes, "Is that right?" And Colin goes, "Well, I think so." He goes, "Well, we can't do anything about it." And I said, "Well, look, I know I'm not a councillor, but I'd like to move a motion." And some other councillor said, "What's the motion?" So I said, "I'd like to move a motion that the mayor's a dickhead." Anyway, Jeremy Gaylard, good old Jeremy Gaylard, he was on the council. He was a councillor in those days. And he goes, "Mr. Mayor, I'll second the motion."
No way.
So the room sort of erupted, and I said to him, "Well, look, you owe me $5,000 now." So I got up and walked out and never heard another word from him.
Done. Just like that.
Done. So Calzone's never paid for any car parks, which they didn't have to.
So did that show you in that moment how corrupt it was?
It's not about what's fair. It's all about who's who in the zoo. You've only got to look at the museum they're putting up, Sam.
Yeah.
It's all about who's who in the zoo. 99% of the Shepparton population said, "Fuck it off."
Yeah.
It said no good.
Yeah.
Just no good.
Is that car park thing like an actual deal usually, that you have to pay for car parks as a business, like anywhere?
Yeah, no, not anywhere. Shepparton's on its own when it comes to these sort of draconian laws.
Yeah, like I'd never heard of it. Like
Well,
Lemon Tree, they don't have to pay.
But you don't have to go far. Just go to Marupna. Do you have to pay for parking there?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Well, they got two heads on. How are they different to us?
Yes.
Was that based on like capacity of the restaurant? As in, like, is that the way they looked at it? As in, like,
They looked at it,
capacity's X
yes.
amount, you need X amount of parks?
Yes. So what they did is they looked at the plan and they said, "All right, you've got 50 square metres of usable floor area downstairs,
Yep.
and 50 square metres upstairs, right? You have to provide one car park for every 10 square metres or something, right?" And I said, "Well, who made that one up?
Yeah.
Can you show me in writing?" They couldn't show me in writing.
Yeah, right.
So they're just making it up as they're going along. So then when they do show it to me in writing, it's all wrong. It's an interesting analysis is the fence in Balaclava Road that you've seen going up lately.
Yeah.
Well, Sam has received, my son, that he owns the property, 12 letters from solicitors in Melbourne on behalf of the Shepparton City Council telling us to knock the fence down, remove it immediately because I did it without a permit.
Yeah, right.
Well, or it's too high.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
And then the side fences. I said, okay, so I stopped. I finished the front fence. I didn't worry about that anymore. So I started the side fences, and they were taking photos from 100 metres away or something, and saying the side fences are too high.
Oh my God.
Then I look at their own rules in their own computer thing, and it says that the fence between you and your neighbour is up to you and your neighbour. That makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah.
So
They couldn't have that. They couldn't have that.
so based on that,
So after 12 letters of
wow.
enforcement, then I get the final letter saying, fuck it, do what you like.
Really?
Yeah.
So that kind of prompted you to run and make some changes, or
No, that's just
No,
recent.
the fence was
that's the
recent, yeah.
fence.
Fence is recent,
So what
yeah.
started it all was they said no to an electronic sign on the Shep Hotel
Yes,
because that was going to kill people.
yes. So
What,
that's
what was that based? Like a distraction driving?
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
Well,
right.
so I said to them, well, everyone in Vegas should be dead.
What about Melbourne with the big?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Big
everywhere,
billboards right on the freeway.
Tokyo.
of course.
So they fought for 2 years in VCAT to try and stop me having that electronic sign. Obviously, they knew I was going to hang a bit of shit on them,
Yes, yeah.
right? Or they thought that. So they fought for 2 years. God knows how much money they spent of our rate money.
I was about to say that comes out of her rate money, right?
And well, I've been to court 36 times since they put me in jail.
36?
36 times against the council.
Yeah, right.
They've spent millions of dollars.
All
on
against the
me.
council.
And there's not 1 cent provided for in the line items in the budget.
Right.
And what's their big move? What was their big move at the meeting last night? That they're not going to release the 1920 budget, which finishes on the 30th of June, 1920, 2020,
2020, yeah.
which is, a couple of days before. And they're not going to release it because it could favour some candidate. How the fuck's it going to favour anyone? It's going to tell people exactly what they've done.
I was about to say on the same token, yeah, it's like, let's give you some clarity.
And none of
you
the
should
incumbents-
you should know exactly what our money and
Yeah.
people are representing us are doing.
Especially last year.
Yeah.
How could it be of benefit
Well,
to any
year,
candidate?
year after year, it should be clear.
Well, when I was on, it was always produced at the time it was supposed to be produced. This is a new scenario come up with by Peter Harriet, who's the most crooked CEO in Australia.
Yeah.
But anyway, to get back to your question, James, it all started about the screen.
So
So
was
then the pub burns down.
right.
And the only thing that doesn't burn is the screen.
Oh, the screen was up when it burnt.
Yes.
Yeah, right, yep.
Only got up the day
So
before.
what year did the screen go up? Was that 07?
No, yes.
Yes.
07, so it's a long time ago.
Yes.
I
13
didn't
years,
think it'd been there that long.
13 years ago next month.
Yeah, I kept thinking it went up just after.
13
Yeah.
years ago. I'll tell you the funny story. Zach, the guy who was managing it for us, I was volunteer manager. Zach was a real manager. So he got paid. I didn't get paid. And the day of the fire, we got 1 till float each. So we had 400 float, 2 tills in the bar. Had 400 float in each of them. Zach got 400, I got 400. Went out and bought him a pair of shorts. And away we went again. Sent him down to work for my brothers in Melbourne. They had restaurants as well. So, and he ended up doing really well.
Right.
So, and that was it. The Shep Hotel burnt down and the sign was still there. And then on Monday, so it burnt down on Sunday, and on the Monday I had to go to VCAT to fight for this sign. So I go to VCAT and I teed up with Zach down here. We made this countdown thing, this sign will self-destruct in 14 hours and so many seconds, counting it down every minute, right? And then when it got to naught, I'd won at VCAT, but I told this reporter from here that was sticking it up me that I lost. Of course, I fucking lost. I always lose. So Monday morning's paper comes out, a big front page, Muto loses, and up on the board goes, instead of destruction, goes, ha ha, Shep News, April's Fools, because it was April the 1st. April Fools with dumb pricks. And they felt it, and they sacked the girl. You know, talk about bullying, they sacked the girl.
Really?
They sacked her.
That wrote the article.
Chris McPherson sacked her.
Yeah, right.
Evicted. It's time to go, like Big Brother House.
Is that
Au
where
revoir.
is that where the
Arrivederci. Ciao, Bella.
is that where the little war with the Shep News started over that whole 2007?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It started from there, and then they started by, I'm the only councillor ever. I've got more front pages in the Shep News than anyone in the history of Shepparton.
I was going to say that you probably do.
More than Joe Furphy. There's your Furphy. I've got more headlines in the Shep News than old man Joe Furphy.
Do you think, talking about media, we see it a lot, the public perception of the media has crashed over the last few years. It's probably never been lower. If you talk about the US, for example, you got about 60% of people don't trust the media anymore.
No one trusts the media.
Nobody
No.
trusts the media.
When was the last time you saw an 18-year-old kid go into Lovell's news agency? I don't think.
Yeah.
Does it still exist, Lovell's? Good on you, Wendy.
I think it's still there.
And,
Is that the one on the Wyndham?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's still there.
yeah, still there.
Yeah, it's still there.
I'll tell you a story about Lovell later. But anyway, what were we talking
So
about?
do you think the
Media,
media should be
yeah.
held more to account for? Because they're not objective journalists anymore, Milvan. They're they're political activists.
There's no journalists anymore.
That's right.
There's just a few employees of Chris McPherson.
Yes.
See, you ask Fern Summers, she'll tell you, she writes into the paper all the time. They never print her.
That's
her-
right.
her
It's like you
articles.
said,
And there was
though,
a
they're
lot of there was a
political
lot of
activists.
questions. There was a lot of questions that I know that didn't get asked to candidates during this year's election. The Shep News forum that they did. A lot of questions got left out, and they are these milk toast answers or the questions that they want to ask.
Well, have a look at the ballot paper. Have a look at the ballot paper. This is the first year ever that there's no scrutineers. Someone just picked the order out of a hat. And if you have an actual look at it, the first 9 people that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are the ones that Chris McPherson wants in the council.
Right.
And your Fern Summers and your Shane Sarleys even are right down the bottom because he doesn't control them.
Yes.
Now, it's a bit of, it might sound a bit sceptical, but trust me, I've been working on it for 30 years.
Yeah. Well, you've probably got more.
I've got the facts.
Yeah,
You've
more
got
insight.
exactly right.
Why do you think I can advertise up on the sign there that these 2 people are no good for 2 years straight, every 2 minutes of the day, and the Shep News is not worth 2 bob, every 2 minutes of without them doing anything about it because they don't want to go to court on it because then they'll hear what I've got to say. They'll see all the evidence.
They'll just cop the sign.
They'll cop it and they'll try and say to people, I just make him irrelevant. He doesn't exist. Well, yes, I do.
It's exactly what, like you said, it's political activism.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what,
Like media is political activism. Like they just,
The-
I mean,
the
everyone's
media
got their
is-
way they swing.
Yeah, the media as a whole, though, is just wrecked these days. I was listening to Joe Rogan podcast the other day, and they were talking about it, just saying how back in the day, it'd be the news was on at 6 p.m. at night till 7. So they had the whole day, whatever, to research and get the facts straight, and it was that only time, and you listen then.
Yeah.
Now, when the COVID cases dropped the other day, on the Facebook of Shep News, they dropped an article like every hour for 6 hours. COVID. And it was
Yeah.
like, and even Joe Rogan that said, these days it's like, who can get to it quickest? So you
Yeah.
hear that Trump has cancer or something.
Well,
So
that's how
straight
that
away they report it. Trump has
That's
cancer.
how that misinformation
and
gets
then,
around.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
it turns out, oh, it's fake.
But there's no
Because it's-
accountability for it.
Yeah, no,
that's
it's
the
all
worst
just
thing.
about beating
Yeah.
the other newspaper to the lead.
You can say whatever you want just to
But
get a
they
sale,
fuck
but
it
there's
up.
no accountability for talking bullshit.
yeah.
Like that's the worst thing of it.
So
100%.
so what made you run for council?
Oh, the money.
The money.
Oh, shit, yeah, the
How
money,
much
mate.
was it back then?
Well, back then, I think
2008.
$18,000 a year.
Beautiful.
Well, it was a legitimate dole check. So you didn't have to go down the dole office to get it. You just had to go and work for 60 hours a week at the council. It was a bit of a pain in the arse, really. But much more. See, talking about the media, though, newspapers are finished. We must all understand that.
Oh, 100%.
Kids can't read anyway.
It's like you said before, how many 18-year-olds you see going into the newsagents buy paper, right?
That's right. I haven't seen one for 10 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Even my parents stopped getting the paper. Like, and they're
How many
mid-50. They're
yeah.
60 now.
Yeah, how many
And
people
then-
you see sitting there reading the paper now?
Nah. Social media.
Like
and-
years ago, it was every household had the paper.
Even old people now know to do the iPods, take photos and that.
Yeah, taking selfies.
The grandkids.
Yeah, and they're not even in the photo.
Love that one. Love that.
it's from here.
Love that selfie that the boys up in the mountain watching the horse racing. That's clever. Hey, boys.
So you had a bit of drama, even with the billboard. Didn't the council try to make it harder for you with the... Wasn't it costing you an absolute fortune to keep it going at one point?
No, never.
Well, once the VCAT and stuff
Lies.
was done, it was decided you could have it.
Yeah, and then when they decide that I've been naughty enough and they put me away for a little bit, I leased it out. So Kelly McPherson leased it for a while,
Right,
and,
yep.
and she did. And council got Vic Rhodes to write to her and say she's got to pay $80,000 a year rent for the sign because it's on Vic Rhodes' land.
What?
I said, but it's on my veranda.
How's that work?
But your veranda's on our land. I said, well, someone got a permit for it 200 years ago, whenever, before Christ or whatever.
Like, as
So
in they're
it's sort of-
saying like
it's got-
footpath easement type thing.
Yes.
Are they? Yeah, right.
See, they say that they own right up to the building.
Yeah, right.
Well, they may do, but I said, but I've got adverse possession, haven't I? It's been there for 100 years.
You can pay maintenance on the veranda.
Yeah. And I said, so Kelly's crying and all carrying on. She goes, I can't afford that, I can't afford that. I said, just tell them, just send them back to me.
Yeah.
I've got nothing to do with it, but send them back to me. I love talking to them. So they write back to me and say, you've got to pay $80,000 a year. And I said, well, no. When you give me evidence that everyone else along this verandas here that are on your road, all the signs, because there's signs everywhere, they're not all digital.
Well, technically, if they're advertising their own business at the front, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
They have big roads. So
Yeah.
show me how much they're paying, I'll pay the same amount.
Yeah.
Never heard from them again.
Would you ever run again for Council Milvan, or those days behind you?
No, I'm not allowed to.
Is that right though? Because I did. There's
Well, I don't know. I haven't really.
I think after 7 years or something, you're able to run.
It used to be that. It used to be because I had a record the first time, but it was well over 7 years old, and I'd been a goody two shoes for all that time, and now all of a sudden I became a bad boy again because I actually went in to try and help the town.
Yes, talk about that. Talk about that.
Well, I could see so many things going wrong. You know, Shep City Council got $150 million a year budget.
Wow.
I could walk in there and just cut 10% off that by just saying, righto, no one's cheating this week. Gonna have a cheap free week. I save 15 million there. You can't stay home if you're not crook. And when you actually when I first got into council, I forced them to take us through the bowels. Behind that council barrier at the front, there's a room that sits about 200 or 300, 400 people working at desks, working away. You've never seen it. People don't see it. They don't show anyone. So I forced them. The CEOs, they didn't want to take us down there, but I forced them. Said, no, council's got a right to know who's working here and what's going on. So they walked us through, and there's all these people. So of course there's a big bunch of councillors walking around with the CEO saying, and this is this and this and that. So I break off. I'll get back here, Milvan. No, that's all right. I can find my way back. I've lived here a while. So I see one bloke, I say, hey, how you going, mate? He goes, all right. So what are you doing? He goes, I don't know. I said, what do you mean you don't know? He goes, I don't know. I said, how long have you been working here? 6 months. So what happens in the morning when you get to work? He goes, I come here. In here? Yeah. And you've got a little swipe card to get you in? Yeah. Yeah. And then what do you do? I said, I come to this desk, because that's where they told me to sit. And then I get up and make a cup of coffee. And then I just go back to the desk and I just sit there until someone says, hey, Joe, can you make me a cup of coffee?
So where do we apply for this job?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. I'm pretty good at
Coffees
making
and chill, yeah.
coffees too.
He goes, I've been here for 6 months and no one's actually come to tell me what the fuck I'm doing here, what my job is. Nothing. So I said, yeah, I've heard enough, mate. I can see everyone's just pretending they're doing something, but they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that support you, Milvan, have said the same thing. They said, yeah, he got in trouble, but he was just doing it to
His
try and help
intentions.
the
He's
people.
actually going there to
The
actually
And he,
intention
change
was
he
there.
was telling the truth.
Yeah, the intention was there,
But
right?
let me ask you young boys something, right? You know I got in trouble. Tell me what I got in trouble for.
Technically,
Yeah, just tell me what I was in trouble
well,
for.
from what I've read in the articles from your favourite newspaper, perverting the course of justice. They said
Attempting to.
attempting to pervert the course.
So
of
do you know what
justice.
that means?
No,
That means
you can tell
attempting to tell a lie.
Right.
Attempting to.
It, yeah, it
Didn't
doesn't
even
make sense,
fucking pull it
does
off. Didn't even pull it off.
There's
dumb.
attempting
Dumb wog.
to
Didn't
pervert
even
it,
pull that one
and then there's perverting the course, yeah. So there's,
Attempting to pervert
yeah.
the course of justice.
Yeah.
Now, you've seen what people are doing. You've seen what's happening on the TV at the moment. The New South Wales Premier and her boyfriend doing all the best rorts in Australia.
Yeah.
He's in less trouble than me.
Yeah.
Because I was attempting to be him.
But I think
Yeah.
it's pretty safe to say they just wanted you out of the way.
Yeah, pretty much.
They couldn't stand it. You know,
course.
dickheads and complete utter fools and incompetent fools like Jeff Dobson. Like,
Oh, he's running again this year, isn't he, old Jeffrey?
Let's hope everyone puts him last because he's had his turn.
Yeah.
And he stuffed it right up.
I was going to ask you, who you would put last, and I think you've just answered it.
Yeah, definitely. And he won't even disclose his age on Facebook and that because I think he's 128 or
I don't
something.
think you can
Yeah.
count that high.
Look, I'm not like full into the political stuff.
Have you
but
seen his teeth? You want to have a look at his teeth. Jesus Christ. A man that has no personal, doesn't
Hygiene.
care about personal hygiene.
Doesn't care about the
To
town.
me, he's not worth $2 billion. Piss on him.
You put him up there with the Shep News, or
What did he say in the... Piss on your grave. in the movie.
Oh, yeah. I'm a gentleman.
Dry eye.
Dry eye.
Yeah, I bit on your grave.
Yeah, I'm not fully into politics and that, but Jeff Dobson is looking like he's ready for a retirement home.
Is he the Joe Biden?
Yeah,
of
he's
the
a Joe
Shepparton
Biden.
Council?
That's what I was about
Yeah,
to say. He's a
pretty
Biden.
much.
Biden
Let
of
some
GB.
youth. Let some youth
we do.
come in and
We need to.
make a change.
Do you think, Milvan, that we need to, apart from maybe one or two, and I'm a Fern supporter as well as you are, we all know that. I think
No, I don't support her that much. She's just as dumb as the rest sometimes. Have you ever seen her? She'll say, I speak against this, and then she votes for it.
right.
So don't put me in that category.
Okay.
I think Fern Summer is by far the most educated councillor we've
She's
got.
the best one sitting.
She's by far the best one
Yeah.
sitting, and she should be the mayor, depending
Yeah.
on what happens with the vote. If the people vote for her
think so.
and give her a mandate, she should be the mayor because she's more intelligent than all the rest of them.
I think so. Yeah.
Now, I don't know about the new ones coming in. You know, some of them make
Who do you
some money.
like? Who do you like?
I don't like anybody.
Don't like anyone.
I don't even like you, James.
Oh, Milvan, you're not meant to say that on live.
He told me earlier what we're off like.
Yeah. He told me
He
on the
said he
drive.
liked you, did he?
I'm not allowed to like anyone. I'm not allowed to do anything. I'm not allowed to work. I'm not allowed to be a counsellor. I'm not allowed to be a lawyer. I'm not allowed to go for a job because I have to tell the employer that I attempted to pervert the course of justice. That's a dishonesty thing. That's dishonest. So you tried to tell someone a lie. Fuck that.
Should be in jail for life.
You can't be in our society.
So what
Absolutely not.
do you think of Shepparton, the state of Shepparton at the moment? Right. What's the biggest issue? The two biggest issues for you at the moment, and what needs to change?
Well,
That's being ignored over and over again.
well, it's pretty obvious that the biggest issue is this China disease.
China.
A disease from China.
of course. China.
China?
Came from China.
Yeah. I love the Trump stuff.
That's good, huh?
I bet you his missus does the windows, James.
She would.
But the two biggest issues in Shepparton, well, obviously first is this COVID, but how good are Shepparton people in? Hey, a little bit of a hint that we've got it. We're down there to get tested. Why would
Yeah.
you go and get tested if you think you got it? Don't go and get tested.
I said the same
Shut
thing.
the fuck up.
I was sitting
Stay
there.
home and
Like,
isolate.
I know.
Yeah.
there's 3 cases, and now there's 400 people lining up to get. So if 5 of them had it, you've just given it to another 30.
Well, that's
No
like
social
you're only allowed
distancing in
10
those
yeah,
lines.
they're all
Yeah,
standing next to
you're
each
only
other.
allowed 10 at the wedding.
Yeah, but
But you're allowed
600 people go
600
get
at the-
tested.
For 6 hours next to the same smelling
Yeah,
outfit.
yeah,
Yeah.
But you
It's
like,
outrageous.
Well, they
The
done
whole
like
thing's
that. What,
been
8,
bummed.
700, 800 or something the first day when they all boomed.
6
But
hours.
yet that was like they sent so many home.
Yeah.
So there must have been like 1,500 or something. I assume
A lot of people.
there
Imagine
up
if-
against each
imagine
other,
if 10
sweating
of
in the
them-
sun.
If 10 of them had it,
Coughing on
fuck
each other
me,
like-
we went
Speaking
over
to
it.
each other.
Yeah, yeah,
Extraordinary stuff.
yeah.
Extraordinary.
So apart from
So
apart from COVID,
Yeah.
what's another? What about the homeless issue? I think we can all agree there's a pretty
I know.
big issue with that.
Well, not really.
You don't reckon?
Well, let me put it to you this way, James. If you found yourself out in the street with no money and no clothes, what would you do?
Go to Lutfi's. He'll feed me.
No, you wouldn't go there because you need that shit. but no, what would you do?
I don't know.
You'd get up, wouldn't you?
Yes.
You'd just get up and go back to mum and dad's or something. Go and see your brother or your sister.
Friend or
say,
something.
listen, help us out for a couple of days. What do you want me to do? Wash the windows? Do you want me to do something? You know, go out to the orchards. There's thousands of them out here, and put a bag of fruit on. Pick a bag of fruit, put them in smaller bags, and go around the street and sell a few.
Not a
Go and
bad
give them
idea.
to the mothers. You know, like have a bit of common sense. Don't go and get a needle and break into the Shep Hotel and have a shot. You want me to be?
You had a few
Mate,
sleeping in there,
They
didn't
are
you?
disgraceful, the homeless. I've tried to help them. I've tried to give them money. I gave these 2 little kids $20 so they could spend at the get-go. So they went and got a bigger rock to throw through the window so they get the for nothing.
That is a valid point. A lot of these people, they can't be helped just that easily.
Yeah,
you see
correct.
these debates on Facebook,
The
right?
mental health's that bad.
Oh,
that they can't
just
be
give
helped.
them homes. Just put them in a
Yeah,
home.
no.
It doesn't solve the fucking issue,
No, it does
it?
not.
They'll
No.
smash the house. They'll smash it
And
up.
not only that, you give a homeless bloke $20, and as you walk away, he says, "Who's this cunt think he is?" Just
Yeah.
poking out $20 like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's so hard to know.
It's
which
not an
ones
easy.
are-
It's
and
not an easy fix, mate.
In Melbourne, it's so hard to tell which ones are real and which ones aren't. Like which ones are just scamming you.
Well, that's a bit like-
Which
that
ones are the
scamming ya.
which ones are the legitimate
Yeah.
mental health problem?
Which
Yeah.
ones
And
are
which
the
ones are like
imposters?
just
Man,
fucking
you
the
see
scammers?
the ones in
Which
the
one
middle of the
scammers?
city with a dog, and they're like, "Need money for my dog, like to feed my dog," and it's like, where the fuck did you get a dog from?
There was that one in
start?
Sydney a
And
couple
you're
of
not
years
gonna
ago.
feed the dog.
A professional homeless person, and they were going to busk and ask for money, and someone ragged him in and said, "These people aren't homeless."
Yeah.
And they literally walked back to
Heaps
the car,
of
and they
people
filmed them
being
walking back to
caught
the
out.
car. They got into like a Beamer,
Yeah.
followed them to the house, and they were in like a massive beachfront house. And that was the husband. That's what he done as a job. He just went and busked every day.
When I was about 12 years old, 13 years old, 14 years old, I don't know, junior,
Laying bricks.
laying bricks,
Laying them bricks.
getting bricks thrown at me. That was fun. Is that the lake?
Durham Falls.
No big pear fountain thing
No,
up
no.
there.
So, what was I telling you about? I was 12 or 13.
Laying bricks.
No. No, my dad, being the upstanding citizen of the Italian community, he went in business with this bloke from Melbourne and bought Italian movies to Shepparton to the Cinema Capri on a Sunday night. So every Sunday night, me and my mate Nick Fursey, we'd go to the WOG movies at the cinema. And they had this movie on one night, and we're sitting there, and we could understand Italian, but not proper Italian, but we could understand most of it. And there was they were having a scene with this big rich bloke in his hotel room, there's fires roaring, one of those big fires. And at the bottom of the building, there's a homeless guy going, please give me some money for the poor, some money for the blind, some money for the poor. Begging for money. Anyway, this bloke up in the room, he starts laughing to himself, laughing, giggling away. Me and Nick are what's he laughing about, this idiot? And then I show him he's got the tongs, and he's got a 2-bob bit, or an Italian bit, in the fire, heating it up, right? It's got it glowing red, right? And he goes out to the window, and he goes to the poor man downstairs, he goes, "Here, poor man, I've got a spare fucking dollar here." So he throws it out the window, and the poor man goes, "Oh, catches it right." And we cracked up laughing. And that's when I learned about the hypocrisy of all that sort of shit, because until you actually evaluate what's going on, you just can't work it out. These people are professional imposters. I see them every day there. They're sleeping behind the Shep Hotel. They're making a mess. They're doing this. They're doing that. Azim's feeding the pigeons there, and they're shitting everywhere. And it's just someone should take a film of it. No health inspector will go and have a look at it. It's just a joke.
Ben Shapiro said a quote that stuck with me. He said, "Name me one homeless person that was good with money and that made good life choices."
Milvan Muto. Vincent Vega.
Oh my God. This is like a beautiful train wreck. I love it.
I wish we had a joint.
Well, Travi over there probably does. Hey, so quick one for you.
Yeah.
Campaign spends, right?
Yep.
We're seeing some big numbers getting thrown around.
Yep.
Do you think, in your opinion, there should be a limit on campaign spends, or let people go fucking nuts?
Well, the more you spend, the more nuts you are.
Right.
But I don't mind that, because
You don't care?
they're pumping their money into our community.
Yeah.
Who do you reckon's making the posters and that?
Of course.
Probably my mate Paul McInerney. He's probably saying thank you very much. He sees me coming, he shits himself. All he's getting is a slab.
The thing
You know
is,
what I mean?
too,
So no
You've
issue
seen-
with it?
You've seen Shane Starley coming down. I've got 20 grand here. Beautiful. Peter Sutherland having a ball.
the thing is, too,
But
at least it's showing that they want to. They want to,
yeah, but what
a good way to
There's
look
a
at
flip
it.
side to that,
I see
though.
it.
Are they doing it because they
when
want to?
when you're
or
spending
because they've-
$50,000 to get a $25,000 a year job, it just doesn't make sense.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like, are they doing it for the community, or are they doing it because there's
that's a
that
lot
motive?
of money. I work at a sign writer. That's big. No one's spending that.
We should ring Shane.
That's right.
So
We
he
could
can
ring
clarify.
Shane.
You should ring Dinny Adams. He'd
Easier.
probably tell you for $5,000.
I'm sure
I
he
could
would.
ring Shane. I wonder if Shane
Yeah,
would be on.
because some people
Let me text him.
Some people say, oh, like what you just said, spending 50 grand, 40 grand, 50 grand for a $25,000 seat.
Yeah.
Why are they doing that?
Well, because
And does it price out the little blokes? Probably not.
I've actually asked Shane, how are you going to possibly contribute to any debate over the mall or the central business district when you've got 3 businesses in town? That's just what they call a direct conflict of interest.
Yeah.
So even if our council's let you through. Say, no, Shane's all right. He's got an open mind right till the end. Well, he may have, but someone else may not.
Yeah.
You know, see, did anyone watch the council meeting last night?
Oh, I only watched a little bit of it. I didn't watch
Well,
it.
what's the most used word? You must get it. Surely there's one word that you hear nearly in every motion.
We can call Shane.
Tell me.
When the motion goes through, unopposed.
Unopposed, yeah.
Yeah.
Unopposed.
Unopposed. How can 9 people have exactly the same train of thought? Mate, I lived in a household of 10. It was murder nearly every night. You know, I now ache in the places where I used to play. Leonard Cohen said.
Yeah.
Should we get Shane on the phone?
You can call him, put him on speaker. It might work.
Yeah, I'll put him here.
Call him Fallon and Daddy.
Can we hear it?
Hey, bro.
Shane, you're on the podcast, mate, with Milvan Muto and the boys.
Oh, very good. It's an honour.
Yeah, we're just talking about seeing if we can get a loan off you, Shane.
I've got no money left.
That's what we're saying. That's what they're saying.
So can you fill us in on? It's a big point of contention, mate. Everyone wants to know how much Sponduli Shane Sarley's blowing on his campaign. Can you just put it to rest?
I don't want to know, Shane. I don't want to know, Shane. Did you
Actually,
spend the money?
I heard that you said I've spent 40 grand, but I reckon you cut me short.
Yeah.
Cut you short, 50 grand.
Hey, Shane.
Yeah, I reckon that sounds more like
Shane.
it. So,
Shane, Milvan Muto. Did you spend the money locally?
of course I did, mate. You know I wouldn't do it anyway.
Well, that speaks for itself.
I kept that guy sitting next to you in a job.
Come in, sucker.
Thanks, Shane. We appreciate it, mate.
See you, boys.
See you, mate. Good luck.
See you, man.
Yeah, no,
I've printed more
Shane's a good
Shane's
guy.
heads.
Shane's a good guy, but how does he contribute? How does he contribute?
I don't know.
Well, that's probably to ask him.
But can you say that, yes, he's got 3 businesses in the mall?
Yeah.
Is that fucking better to vote him in? Vote someone in that...
because he
The
would
mall,
try
Because
to.
he's gonna-
the mall got locked in 6 months ago. That whole motion for the mall done.
No, nothing's locked in with this council, mate.
But wouldn't
Yeah,
that be a
I'll tell you what's
better
locked in.
reason, more the reason to vote for him?
He's
tell
the
you
one
what's
in
locked.
there.
I'll tell
So
you
he
what-
would have
what
the
I
best
would've thought,
opinion.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what's locked in. Peter Harris locked in, mate. He's the one that's locked in.
locked in,
No one else is locked
locked
in.
and loaded.
Yeah, no one else is locked in, mate. But
What do you reckon of Sam? I've heard that it could blow past 60 mil.
well, my son's called Sam. He's already gone past that. Hey, and he won't even come and give me a hand. Like, are you kidding me or what?
Is
But anyway,
is the art museum?
Sam's gone. Sam will go to 70 million.
You reckon 70 million?
It has to go to 70 million. They haven't spoken about. They haven't spoken about the car park, how much that's costing yet, the trees, the gardening. Who's going to run it? How much you're paying someone to run it? How many staff is it going to have? Where's the ongoing running costs? That museum is going to cost Shepparton a lot of spanduli.
Has the costing been done but just not released?
No,
Or is
no.
it just everyone just sort of been like, let's just figure it out as we go?
Well, Fern Summer's the only one that's been the dissenting voice. All the
She's
other
the
ones-
only one that
well,
opposed it, right?
Well, she's the only one that actually read it, read the business case. See, the problem is you've got people like Dinny Adams and that, they can't read. You know, Jeff Dobson, he can't think for himself unless Prue tells him what to do. That's what he's done his whole life. People can't change, the leopards can't change their spots.
Yep.
Now, have you noticed that all the men have jumped ship this year? Because they know what's going to happen with the museum when it opens. Everyone's going to get told that their rates are going up.
Yeah.
No discount on your municipal charge like every other council's done for their people. How much has Shep City Council contributed to this COVID virus? Everyone else has suffered. All the pubs are dying. All the restaurants are dying. The retail shops are dying. There's no customers. Even when they open the place back up again, you might get an initial burst, but then a lot of people, 2 people will get COVID and everyone will stay home again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean? It's not going to be easy to get out of this.
No, you can't just people are under some people are under the false notion that you lift the lockdowns, everything goes back to normal. It doesn't.
No.
Because
No.
There's no
this
normal
virus
anymore.
is sticking around,
It's
mate. It's
gonna
going
be
to be here for a long, long time. It's
Yeah.
going to be forever.
It's going to be a long climb back.
It is. So, I feel for these retail businesses, mate. They're suffering
Hospitality,
hard.
retail.
Yeah,
is
so the
just
question
bad.
is, how much has Shep City Council contributed? They've got a $150 million a year budget. You know, Peter Coppolis has got that budget, probably 1,000 times more, but he contributes.
Yeah.
He says to start this philanthropic group and we'll get you 12 million, but they've only got 2. So they're 10 million short. Guess who's going to put that in? Shep City Council. You know, and where's Shep City Council get it from? Peter Harriet writes a cheque. Where's he get it from? Us. That's right. So he goes back to diminishing his own community's wealth for that stupid mistake. Now, why do you reckon Patterson, Osvari, Hazelman, and who's the other nut, and Giovanetti, why do you reckon they all jumped ship?
They're gone.
Just left 5 girls.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
They don't want to get hit with the shitstorm that's going to
5
follow.
girls. So if you get Sam Spinks and Zara Harara, whatever her name is, if they get in, you're going to have 7 girls and 1 bloke and 1 Dobson.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that's outrageous.
And the first ever Greens-backed member too.
Oh, well, green, yellow,
Is it-
blue.
Spinks is
that
green,
career
I'm not
is that
racist.
campaign suicide to say in regional
Regional.
Victoria
Yeah,
that
regional,
you're
yeah.
backed by the Greens? Do you think?
I've seen a lot of
can't be
comments
good.
on the council's pages saying, "Are you
Well-
Greens? If you are, I'm not voting for you."
Yeah.
Like heaps of
It's-
people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, we're not very green. In
I don't think it's a
No.
very good idea, but
if
let it go.
if
for
it was Sweet Mary Jane Green, I reckon
it. You might get in.
there's plenty of greens.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly as I said, though, between hunting, camping,
Yeah.
and just general outdoor stuff, it's not really the best party to roll with.
No,
Not here.
no. I think the independent's the best way to go here. I think
Yeah, I reckon
Independent,
too.
yeah.
I've been saying
Yeah.
that all my life. At least if you get a hung parliament somewhere,
Yeah.
you've got to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got to go for that
Yeah.
fluke.
Yeah.
And when you do get that fluke, if it's once in 100 years,
Yeah.
for that 4-year period, you get a lot.
Yeah.
Makes
yeah.
up for the 100 years. You know what I mean? So should always be independent. Country Party, well, see, everyone still votes for the LNP, the National Party now, because they think it's the Country Party, because their parents voted for the Country Party.
Yeah.
And their grandparents voted for the Country Party. You know, it's the Country Party to the end. Yay!
Yeah.
White power!
It's like I said, though, all them parties, they got their agendas, they got their rules, their regulations. It's like you said, independent can sway whatever way they want, do what they want.
That's right. They can go with the flow.
That's right.
They can do the blackmail thing.
They can listen to people and
They
say,
can
okay,
even
I'll go
attempt to
that way.
pervert the course of justice.
Oh, they can. They can.
They could attempt to do it.
Attempt.
Attempt. Yeah, it sounds really stupid when you say it like that, doesn't it?
But that's what my charge was.
Yeah.
But what did I attempt to pervert the course of justice from?
Tell us.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting to
You're the
find
one
out.
with the story.
I'm still waiting to find. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even know. The screws used to say to me when they used to do my paperwork, they'd go, "What are you in here for?" I say, "Good time."
So what were the recordings about, Milvan? Like what were they?
The recordings that were placed in my letterboxes and many other letterboxes in Shepparton were all about the councillors.
Shep leaks.
Sheppy League.
Sheppy Leaks, yeah. They're all about the councillors having their lunch, pigging out at lunchtime, because I used to say to them, don't put me down for the lunch. Just put me down for a can of Fanta. Excuse me, at the meeting.
You're a Fanta man.
I have a can of Fanta.
Oh, Fanty pants.
Yeah. But I used to like the Fanta, remember the Fanta? Anyway, the Fanta was good. So I'd go home for lunch because I lived across the park.
Yeah.
So I'd go home for lunch, and my wife's a way better cook than any of those, chefs that they had there at headquarters.
What were they cooking in there?
Yeah, Bernard Hayes and Jill Hayes used to
Yeah,
cook
yeah.
them up,
Yeah,
steak
yeah.
and shit, everything.
Every day.
And so they'd be sitting there.
Fuck, I
and
need to get on council.
Someone was recording them.
On that guy's job that just has the
And
coffee every day.
They were sending me the recordings because all they were talking about, of course, was me.
So was anyone else admitted that got these recordings sent to them?
No. Yes,
Has anyone else put their hands up and went, I got that in my
yeah,
letterbox?
Yeah, many.
Yep, yep.
So they were talking about you in those recordings.
What? And they're saying that you did it? Is that what the
Did
go
what?
is?
No. Then the police come around to my place and they falsely arrested me and all that. And they reckon that I did it, but they never charged me for it. I didn't.
Yeah. So they're saying that you made the recordings.
Yeah, so no, because I gave a recording to the acting CEO.
Yeah,
So
right.
they have a listen to what they're saying about you. You want to hear what they're saying about me.
Hence the attempted.
Hence the attempted.
Yeah.
But attempting what? What am I
Yeah,
attempting
yeah.
to do?
Yeah.
So it was a big
That's what I mean. They went for the grab.
Really?
It was just an 8 months holiday,
Just to get rid of you.
just to get me out. But that, unbeknownst to me at the time, I wasn't. I was a bit scattered because I was thinking, what the fuck am I doing this for? I didn't pay much attention to it, so they made me a criminal again. So then got to wait for 10 years again,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Quick way to check you out.
Yeah, and not only that, so 2,000 or 3,000 or 4,000 people vote you in, and one Jeff Dobson gets you out by telling
Yeah.
a few lies.
Yeah.
You know, And not only that, the council actually paid Dobson that gave him $5,000 to start the proceeding against me.
Yeah, right.
In writing, I got all that.
So there's a crazy internal war.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
And
For little old
No,
Shepparton.
I've seen,
Yeah.
I've seen what they tried to do to Fern Summer in the last 7 or 8 months. They've tried to put her on the same notice as what they.
So you've seen a pattern there with you.
They've even blamed her what they used to blame me, that my tone was bad.
Yeah, right.
He spoke in a scary tone. Ooh. Oh no, don't go in there.
Personally, I'd rather someone speak their mind in their own tone, in their own personality, because you know exactly what they're saying. It's not a bullshit lie.
Well, yeah,
It's not someone just bullshitting around. I'd rather someone just be straight up, honest,
Oh, 100%.
in their own tone, and then you
Yeah.
can assess it for what it is.
Not
you know,
just
like
talking the shit to get in and
yeah, you're not just
So
making
what's
up these
needed
lies.
to change the culture, right, of the council as it's been for a long, long time?
Yep.
How do we drain the proverbial swamp? Is it as easy as just voting them out and voting all the new people in?
No,
Because it's not that
you
easy,
can't-
is it?
No, it's not that easy. And you've only got 17 in starting the race. It's not the Melbourne Cup.
That's right.
There's only 17. And a couple of them are just, like setups,
Yeah,
complete setups. Like, when two people have exactly the same.
Answers in the Shep News.
yeah. What the?
I told you, mate, he's as rotten as his teeth, that bloke.
But that got glossed over. Hang on.
Because it's a Chris McPherson.
That
The
happened.
Shep
That
News
book got-
didn't want to address it, did they?
did
Like-
they copy and paste?
It
That
was
should
the
be like a
exact
full-on-
same answers.
Do you know that if council stopped advertising with the Shep News, they'd be broke immediately?
2 peas in a pod.
Because with that,
Immediately.
it was like it sort of got glossed over and faded out. But as residents here,
Well, did
What
you,
the
did you,
hell?
Did you read?
Yeah.
Did
Like,
anyone,
what?
Did anyone read what John Anderson said the other day in the paper
No.
about the book, the big grey box, the Sam Museum, and Aquamove's behind
oh
it?
yes,
The
yes,
bookends.
yes,
When,
yeah, yeah,
when
yeah,
looking into the city.
yeah, yeah.
The bookings over the natural lake. Well,
That was ridiculous.
one thing for starters. It's not a natural lake. It's a man-made lake. Shepparton Lake was made by men.
Did you guys read that?
They dug it out.
It was ridiculous. What he
I
wrote
didn't
was
see it.
just like,
It was just stupidity.
yeah, it was.
I think I even wrote something, but it was just like I think how he got to marry such a beautiful Italian girl is beyond me.
I reckon I read that.
I think the mafia should be having a meeting right as we speak.
I think I read that from your alias.
Not my alias. I don't have alias. Oh, Ruby said that. I've lived here for 70 years. I've never heard of that last name.
I've read that.
Yeah, a lot of people.
I know your family. I did read that.
So
Yeah.
say all the new candidates are in, right?
No, well, I wouldn't do that. There's a couple of the old ones that you can
That's
leave
yeah.
in there.
Okay.
See, I think you have to leave Fern in there.
As mayor, I think.
Well, it depends if she gets the votes. See,
I think
the,
she
the
will.
way Shepparton people vote. You see,
She keeps posting
I
those
come
birthday
second.
pics.
I came second
you
to
see
Les
that?
Osvari, right? In the second election I ran, I came second to Les Osvari.
Did you?
Les Osvari's first time running, right? So, but he's a cocker. So it gives you an indication what most people, white people out there, are going to vote for,
Yep.
right? I think we might have a little bit of a stir-up issue with Greggy James running because
Yes,
Greg
yes.
he's one of us.
I think people like, from what I've heard,
Yeah.
everyone
He's a
likes
good guy.
him. Yeah.
Well, he's one of us. I've been here for 61 years. I've known Greggy James for 61 years.
Yep.
I remember him crawling out of his mum
It'd be.
because I was crawling out next door to him.
I hope he does get
I
it.
think it'd be good.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think it'd be really good.
I remember when I was a babe. He's a strange looking dude. Pretty pink. Sorry,
I think
Greg.
it'd be
Sorry,
great if Greg gets in.
Shout
No,
out
but
to,
I think
shout out
so.
to Greg.
I think he's a big chance.
I think it's a big chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see, he knows a lot of people.
Yes.
Yeah. he
So
does.
what's Greggy spent on his campaign? A few posters here and there.
I haven't
that I've
seen.
noticed.
Yeah, I haven't seen.
Yeah,
all
I
of it.
haven't seen.
I've seen heaps because I printed them.
Sutho, Sutho's probably talked him into doing the TV in the last week after everyone's voted. Well done, Sutho. Top job, son.
Got a voice for radio then. Milvan.
Welcome.
But yeah, I'd like to see him get in.
my nightmare.
Greg, I'd like to see James get in, and Fern Summer, James, Benny Ladson, my boy Benny
So
Ladson.
Benny Latson's a good boy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you see, so if you get two,
You
or
need
three-
a good core in there.
yeah, you just don't want Jeff Dobson in there. He's a rotten apple that will spoil the whole barrel.
If you haven't noticed Facebook, we don't want Jeff Dobson.
Well, it's like you said though. You get a lot of
100%.
a lot of the new ones are they're a bit cautious.
Shane
a lot of them are a
Sarli-
bit vulnerable.
Shane Sarli will make it,
Sali, I think, will get him.
but Charlie will make it to the detriment of Dinny Adams.
Still votes off each other, you reckon?
Well, Shane's got, I know the families,
Albanian.
the Albanians,
Yeah, the Albanian community.
They're going to be
is
fighting
split.
over
The
votes
Albanians.
here.
They were
You know,
young.
they're-
The
they're
young
ones
head
that-
will get
that
in.
Crawl over to Italy and they crawl over to Australia. They go everywhere, the Albanians.
Yeah.
Actually, I was watching some Albanians do some render work today next door to the house in Balaclava Road, and fantastic.
Yeah, I was saying in the
RS
Savo when I went past.
RS
it. Yeah, after
rendering.
work.
Reven.
They have a go,
Yeah.
those boys.
Yeah.
Revenge.
Reven.
Raven has
Yeah.
a go too.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rovain.
Ravenga.
Shaholare.
Ravenga.
Finally, they're redoing. They just did all that work across from Trallies and that, where it was
Yeah.
boarded up for
Oh, the new
fucking
joint. Yeah,
ages.
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
New little
Hopefully, it
Complex.
gets filled.
little complex. Yeah.
Oh, that's
I think
exactly what we need in Czech, more
Oh.
shops.
We do, yeah.
Exactly.
Well done, Alistair.
Thank you.
Put your foot in that
I
one.
might get in the council.
Eh?
I heard
I'll vote
James
for
is
you.
running for council.
2024
vote for
possibility.
James.
I'm not
Yeah,
going to rule it
James.
out.
No, so what we need,
I reckon you should.
what we need is a fair mix of the new ones and the old
Yeah.
ones. So who's left of the old ones? I just forget.
Ozavar has dropped out.
No, they're all girls that are left. So there's
Do you have a
Sarah-
list?
Sutton.
I think Kim O'Keefe will ship back.
Kim O'Keefe.
Bring it up, Jamie.
Sutton.
Yeah, Kelly Sutton.
Shelley Sutton.
Shelley Sutton, yeah, she'll get back in maybe.
Seema Abdullah.
Well, you know, she's been in Shep for 3 years. She's got no right to be a councillor.
Who
Let
else
alone
we
the
got?
mayor, if you know what I mean.
Dinny Aden.
What a wonderful experience it is to make love to your wife in the gutter.
Let me look up the current councillors. Shepparton councillors.
Yeah, no, there's a couple of Sheilas there. Fern's still in there.
Burn still
Yeah.
in.
And Seema Abdullah.
Yep.
I think she's
Kim
a top-
O'Keefe.
Yeah, Kim will get back
yeah.
in. You know why Kim will get back in? Because she's one of us, mate. See,
She is.
This is what I'm interested in. Kim's lived her whole life in Shepparton. She knows about Shepparton. She lived in Bradford Road. You know where Bradford Road is? It's off Wilmot Road, straight into the Commission area.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
In the depth of it. She grew up in the depth of it, behind South Tech School.
Yep.
Yep.
So, you know, she's a local girl that's made good. She's got a lovely family, and her kids are all great, and she's very intelligent, and she loves Shepparton. She's lived here all her life.
Yeah.
Greggy James loves Shepparton, lived here all her life. Fern Summer loves Shepparton, lived here all their lives. You know, things happen. Pato drops out. Why does Patterson drop out? Because he makes his statement that the Goulburn River is running too fast and it's eating up all the banks.
Yeah.
Well, that's right, Pato. And you know why it's running too fast? Because Shepparton City Council moved the whole friggin' river in 1970. They moved it. It used to go right angle,
Near the cop shop, eh?
right turn near the
Yeah,
cop
yeah.
shop,
Yeah.
then left turn up to the council building, then left turn,
Yeah.
and then make the river.
It used to
properly
take that
again,
little
and then that way.
horseshoe, didn't
Like
it?
a horseshoe.
Yeah, yeah.
And that used to slow it all down.
Yeah, yeah.
So
But then they end up putting the
But
put the
Shep-
rapids in there to try to slow it through.
Shep City Council has made the same mistake as what they're doing now.
Yeah.
They are stuffing around with nature. Look at Peter Harriet. His claim to fame is galvanised steel posts out of the ground with galvanised steel flowers.
Yeah.
Have you seen them?
Yeah.
And if you don't like them, let's put 20 no-standing car parks.
Oh, those
signs
things are
in a
fucked
row.
up north there near the Maccas
Oh,
and that,
'cause
where
my-
no one parks anyway.
Yeah.
That's right. My mate just happened to open up a factory that makes these signs, so let's buy 1,000 off you.
Yeah, 10
yeah.
wasn't enough.
Yeah.
It was like every 2 meters.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Instead of putting one in, one up there, there's nothing in between.
It's insane.
I couldn't believe it driving
it's
past
extraordinary stuff.
700 signs.
And then they'll go in. These councillors, we need councillors that are going to have the balls to say, this is a public meeting tonight. It's a public council meeting. So CEO, bye-bye. Arrivederci.
Exactly.
Ciao. Au revoir.
It's like you said though, most of the councillors that you said that are
Auf
that are
Wiedersehen.
with us are the ones they're not sitting there with a big bank account.
No.
They're sitting there as us.
That's
You know, whether they rent a house or they got a mortgage, they live in a humble place.
Yep.
They got kids that go to local schools and they understand.
That's right.
You know, they're not sitting there with a big bank account,
And they take
looking at motives to make more money. Like maybe if you build this, maybe if you build that.
No, most people are what I call normal people, and I call normal people up. You know, people that earn up to $100,000 a year are just normal people. They're not going to be Peter Coppolases.
Yeah,
They're not going to be Donald Trumps.
Yep.
They want to have a good life.
Yeah.
And the way to have a good life today is to reduce all this rubbish that we're into. Yeah, every house has got to have 15 bedrooms. Every house has got to have 14 cars out the front.
Yeah.
Every room's got to have a TV.
Just take it back to basics.
Just go back to basics.
Yeah.
Grow a few veggies out in the backyard and live locally.
Just enjoy yourself.
You know, it's always amazed me how people have trained to work all year.
Yeah.
And then get 4 weeks off at Christmas and grab all their money and grab all their suitcases and grab all their kids and their
Spend
dogs
it all.
and go up to the Gold Coast
Yeah.
where they know nobody. They pay full rate for absolutely everything.
Yeah.
No one shouts them a thing.
Yeah.
No one even says good day to them.
Yeah.
And then when they've had enough of that after 4 weeks and their head's like that, they get back in the car and they drive all the way back to Shepparton and go back to work.
And they're broke. They've got to
And
go
they're
back
broke
to
and
work.
they've got to go back to work.
Yeah.
That's why I said I'd rather have my 4-week Christmas break, drag a couch into the mall with an esky, a couple of cans, say, who wants to have a beer with me?
So as much
Sounds
as you
great.
And relax.
get
Sounds
into
great.
Shep on the sign, you do love it.
I've always loved you.
He's always lived here.
This is where I'm
Yeah,
from. I've never been-
correct.
You know, for me, interstate is Maribyrnong.
What about the car
When I come to
business
see you the other day, that was a big trip, man.
in Maribyrnong?
Yeah. For me, that was a big trip. I had to take a trip to get there.
What about the car dealership business
What about
on
it?
the sign? What sparked that? You know, there's like buy your car from Melbourne and tell them you're from
No.
That one. I forgot about that one.
I never told anyone to buy their car in Melbourne. I said, do yourself
You
a
hurt
favour
Travis'
and
feelings with
get
that
a
one.
price in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Get a price in Melbourne. Because you know who pissed me off?
Yeah, what was the beef?
You know who pissed me off? What's his name? Jared.
Thompson.
Yeah, Jared Thompson. He pissed me off. Because I offered him a really good deal on the sign. And I said, I'll give you exclusivity, Jared. So it'll only be your name and hold it up there.
Yeah.
Or your dealerships.
Yeah.
Right? And he said, Milvan, I'd love to do an ad with you. But nah. He goes, I go to extraordinary lengths to miss that intersection. It's the worst intersection in Shep. I said, okay. Sure it's got nothing to do with me? Jared goes, no, it's got nothing. We've been mates for years. I said, yeah, that's right. It's got nothing to do with you. And it's got nothing to do with me. So you're not advertising because your mates will say, oh, what are you doing? Advertising on Muto's sign. He said, no, it's got nothing to do with you. I said, no. Anyway, a couple of weeks later, I got this girl that started work for me. I said, do you know Jared Thompson? She goes, oh, he's a family friend. I said, go and ask him, give him an exclusivity deal and see what he says. He goes, I'll get him straight away. I said, all right, go. So she goes there. I go, I'll tell you what he'll say. That he won't advertise up there because it's Milvan's. And she goes, no, he won't say that. So she goes and tells him that I've got this job now, I'm doing the sign.
Yeah.
Will you give me a head start and let me advertise? Jared goes, I'd love to, Mel, but, Milvan, And she goes, that's exactly what he said you'd say.
Yeah. Really.
So that's when I said, right, I'll show you how to do it.
Yeah.
Forget Benalla Road.
It's a very powerful sign where you got it. It's the best
Oh,
spot.
100%.
Imagine if they had any brains, GMV6 or the news, they could rent the sign up in there. They could put their headlines that are going to be in their paper tomorrow.
Everyone said nobody misses that sign.
Nobody misses it.
You've made yourself pretty famous with
But it's
the
not-
ads
it's
you've
just
run on
the
there.
sign.
It's not my
Yeah.
sign. It's not my sign.
It's not your sign.
I voluntarily offer suggestions for it. When the directors ask me, I volunteer some suggestions, and people make their own signs up.
You said earlier the pub's not yours either.
The pub's not mine, no.
Volunteer.
If I could afford the pub, mate, I wouldn't be on the dole.
I like the Trump ad. That's my favourite one.
But the Trumpster tells the truth.
He does.
The Shep news is fake news. Don't buy into it. And no one is.
The best one still from memory was when all this COVID stuff happened and they dropped this. There's a new COVID case from the Golden Valley, but they're not actually here.
Yeah,
they're interstate in quarantine. So
Ridiculous.
So-
Fear-mongering.
why?
Where was that?
Did you read that
On the
one?
Shep News.
Yeah,
on the
Fear-mongering,
Facebook,
mate.
it was-
They're
He
looking
doesn't
for
buy
a
into it.
headline. They're
Yeah.
looking for a headline. I don't buy into it.
It was so ridiculous.
Look, we've been waffling on for quite a while. It's been great.
Yeah, I'm starting
It's
to
been
feel like
good.
Colin Carnes.
Look, thanks so much for joining us, Milvan. It's been awesome.
How
I
long
think you've
has it
answered.
been?
Oh, we've gone over an hour.
No, that's enough. That's enough.
I think we've answered a lot of questions,
And plus, I need a cigarette.
and he needs a cigarette.
You don't get a voice like
Yeah,
this.
same.
Cigarette.
Same. I was going to pee and I'm like,
That's all right.
need to go out.
Go have a cigarette.
But no, appreciate you coming on, Milvan. Thank you
Yeah,
so
thanks,
much,
Steve.
mate.
I
It's been
appreciate you
good.
asking me. And I like the informal.
It's fun, man. We
the
just
way
get
you
on.
do it.
It's-
Everybody should listen to your podcast.
We're not going
Thanks, mate.
to
What's it
try
called
and-
again?
The
The
Trojan
Trojan.
Hour.
I heard we're getting free advertising on the sign.
I heard that whoever owns that sign
Everyone.
is going to give us a
Yeah.
week on that.
Director.
Everyone hopes that.
Exactly.
I get 20 calls a day. People thinking that I've got the same.
I think it's that thing too, of
But
like,
I've got
whether whether you love Milvan or hate Milvan, there's not many people that sit on the fence.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're either way.
Most people sit on the fence, I reckon.
I think that's why you've got a lot of people that respect you, is because you speak the truth, you speak your mind,
Absolutely.
and you don't mince your words.
And that's why we wanted you
I
on.
try and do what I say I'm going to do.
That's why we wanted you on, just to give you that mouthpiece, just to let it out what you want. It is what it is. No one's going to edit you. No one's going to print you up in the Shep News and
The Shep News
you
mine,
don't want
shout out.
You don't want to let the councillors know that you give a free beer when you get here, because they'll all want an interview.
Free
what
beer or
I'm talking
Chardonnay.
I've already got on to Shane about
And-
coming.
And I reckon vote one Fern Summer, I reckon.
Yep.
Yeah,
Fern Summer and Benny
And
Latson for me.
she's had the experience now. This will
Yeah,
be
I'm the same.
her third.
Yeah.
She
Fern
knows the
Benny.
routine.
Of course.
And she's got the balls to
does.
stand up to Peter Harriet.
And I'm liking her, the way she's being a little bit more combative with her ads lately.
Yeah,
Good. Really good.
I'm the same.
Really good.
I like to see someone like that though. I want
Because our kids can jump, mate.
That's it.
Why can't our kids jump? Every other town's kids allowed to jump. Our kids
Yeah.
can't jump. Our kids can jump.
I like
Yeah,
it.
I'm the same like that with Fern. It's not just she's not just a follower. She's
And if
happy
she
to
gets-
rock the boat.
People should know that if she gets the votes and she gets a mandate, she should be mayor. She's shitting herself about getting a lot of votes and maybe having to be mayor because she doesn't think she can do it. But out of all of them, she's the most qualified to do it.
I think she could.
100%.
Absolutely. Yeah,
And she's presentable in any sphere. It's like she can go to the football and she can go to the Parliament House.
yeah, and no doubt it's like you said, it's a lot. You've got 2 terms, get thrown in the spotlight as mayor. You've got to go to all these things.
No, you don't have to. See, that's what I tell her all the time. She's scared about. She's got to go to all the mothers' clubs meetings. No, send your deputy.
Yeah,
You go to the ones that count. Go to the ones where you can get something for Shepparton.
yeah.
And come up with some good ideas, like her laneway ideas.
Yeah.
Great ideas. Lighting up the tower. Great ideas.
That's what I like though.
Pretty
She's
old
willing to
ideas,
say.
pretty old ideas.
She's willing, when an idea comes up, she's willing to say that.
All right, guys. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
We've been evicted, mate.
It's been good. We're getting kicked out. The Shep News is banging at our door. Jeff
They've
Dobson's out
reported
the
us.
front with a baseball bat.
The police are jamming the phones.
Jeffy's blocked our feed.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Good night.
guys.
Thanks
it's
heaps for
been
coming.
Oh.
It's good to be back.
Yeah, about time, mate.
Thanks, man.
Was that
My
an
bum still fit.
Yeah, the boys.